Okay, today we are going to our continuation part of the writing unit test case using the help of Mockito. And Mockito, we have covered almost many things, but last class I have given some hint. I'll give some more example, different way to mock the object, and that we have understand mock as a method, and there are some annotation way which we can use this mocking concept. So this is the main reference document, and my screen is visible, right?
It is visible, yeah.
So we have covered almost many things, but there are something which you and so first things, let us today understand. Till now, last test class, we can say you can use the mock as a method to mocking the class. Okay,
Right.
and there is one option you can use, like say last class mock as a annotation. You can also use as a, so last class we say ki there are multiple way. Mockito support, you can mock the any class or interface like mock, inject mock, and spy mock. So all these three we have tried to understand how we are going to understand, right? And
Right.
that's sufficient of the day. So let's start with the now writing test case. Maybe test void already test 4. And here uh, many organization, whenever you're going to write test cases, there are some guidelines we have to follow. One guidelines about the test naming method, right? This is the not in the actual applications we are not going to give the name like test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4, right? In the real application generally we give a naming convention like uh, what the method you're going to test, right? The method name, and the second underscore what the input you are going to pass, the input name, and second what kind of output expected from this test, right? Failure, success, 200, 500,
Mm-hmm.
300. So that case someone, any developer can uh, follow, someone in the future going to read your test case, so they can easily understand, oh, this test case is written for this, right? So we have to follow the naming convention. But as of now, our objective just to understand this concept, and the later part, if time permit, we can understand coding standard for test cases, right?
Right. Right.
Okay. So here, let us. So one way I already understand. Ki, hey, let's keep calculator class. I have a calculator, and I can use the mock. This is a method. You can say Mockito is a class and dot have a mock method. So generally this is the way you can, hey, say this is the my class, where my mouse, this is the my class and dot class. Okay, this is the one way which I already cover. Okay, and uh, and also this is the already static method. You have not always write the mockito.mock, this thing you can say static import. So here you can say static import like mock, this is right. If you make this static import, then even you don't need to write the mockito dot. By default developer understand, hey, this is the way, uh, already we make a static import, this mockito I can remove them. The both are the same meaning, because this compiler understand, hey, this method come from the Mockito class. How you know this come? You can check this import section, or you just go to the definition, right? Go to the definition and they navigate to you the actual class name, right? The Mockito, right? The Mockito dot
Right.
class about static method. The static method can be generally say class name dot, or just static import and just method name, right? Code simplicity generally, we prefer to make a static import. Unnecessary Mockito dot every place. Here every place we have Mockito dot when, Mockito dot do through, Mockito dot do through, right? So instead of that, we can say just make a static import, right? Static import just make a code cleaner, so ki someone can read carefully, right?
Mm-hmm.
So both are the way, right? And let's now today I'm going to understand ki, hey, this is the uh, calculator mock via calculator uh, mock object mock object. This is the one way, right? And another we can say calculator equal to Mockito. Have one more class Mockito dot spy, and here say calculator dot class. Okay, or okay, class. This is the way. So again, this way generally say spy is the one way to mock. Someone ask you why they have a two way. One is the mock, one is spy. So last class I discussed mock by a mock and spy object. Spy object. So here say again say if you write code this and now just click here and here IntelliJ give hint. You want to make a static import. Notice till now for a spy we have not written any code. There is no any spy import here, right? So IntelliJ give an option. You want to make a static import just click method and he give an option. Hey, yes, you can use the static import, right? So just static import. Now you have a spy. So it's measure here ki when you mock, when you call spy. When so mock means just fake object. This means they are not going to call any actual method. Let's see my calculator class. Calculator class, add method, delete method, whatever the method. I say mock object from this mock, okay? And I say, hey, call add method on this. Add method, they are not going to the call here. They are always written from here itself. They are not call any actual method, right? They are not going to call any actual method. But mock say I am going to call actual method. Question is, does not make sense. If we call actual method, then why I need a mock? Here say if some method I don't want to go actual call, then I prepare dummy response. So here you can say here you have a more flexibility as a programmer decide I am going to call actual object or mock object. So let us give example. So here say Mockito, Mockito, and let's here say create one more object. So here say calculator actual object, actual, actual, or just demonstrator, actual calculator, actual calculator. This is actual object, and here if you say actual object dot call dot add and pass two number 2, 3. And if run this actual object means we are going to the call actually means this method going to the call and this method you are getting something out, right? And dot let's variable. Let's add this out. Now, if I run this test, that means here I'm not using any mock object. I'm using the actual object. The actual object say, hey, I can call the actual method. There is no any problem. So this is the big clear because this is the always we are doing in the main method, creating the object and calling them. Notice here we are calling the actual method, right? That's good. Answer also getting as expected. But now I am going to comment here and again say, hey, I am going to use this mock object. Hey, mock. And then say, these are going to the call actual object or not. Okay. So this is the your actual object add, and this is your mock object add, and just run it. So you notice here our compiler, our Mockito framework are not going to the call actual. So notice here I am getting the mock object as a 0, no default. If I commented here out, if I comment this line 2 lines, and let's say here 8, and if you run here, so you notice this actual code is not going to the call because we are using a mock object. And notice mock object method successfully called, but we are getting no actual call, and just we are getting the dummy response like 0. And if, as you know, you want to get some response, we have to prepare dummy response and mock object, right? So this is the one way. And now let's I am going to say, hey, this is my actual object, and I am going to say, hey, spy them. This is my
Right.
actual object. I am saying you spy them. And after that, let's say same thing I am going to call from my spy object. Yes, say let's comment out. And I say ki now I'm going to use the spy object, not the mock. The spy object say internally I am going to always call your actual method. Let's run and check. So they call your actual methods. So spy me notice ki always call your actual method. So notice they are call actual method and give the proper response, right?
Yeah.
So question is that ki so why need? Because already actual method. Sometime I want no, don't call actual method. You can use my dummy response. So here you can say, hey, I say do return, let's five dot when my dummy object call add method with 2 and 3. Right? So whenever I prepare this dummy response, at that time this Mockito object is not going to call your actual. So this is the you can say spy doing partial mocking means sometime call actual, sometime not call actual. Notice now they are not calling any actual object, right? Whatever you prepare response, let's say I want to response 15, you are getting the 15 response. Means spy is the work as actual object, but if someone want to don't call actual, just prepare dummy response, then it's working on the dummy response, right? Is it clear? Why need spy mock?
Okay.
Spy
So when you call, it calls a spy first.
uh, spy always trying to call your actual method, actual object. But if you first check Mockito framework, you have prepared any dummy response for me? If yes, then I don't call the actual. If I prepare this dummy response, then they are not going to the call actual method. If this line I am not prepared, then Mockito framework say, hey, I'm a spy, but I'm not getting any dummy response prepared for me. So I am going to the call your actual method.
Okay.
This
So
is
the
the
actual method is in dot add.
dot add. They are going to the call calculator method. Notice this is the response I am getting from here. This is the actual method call. Actual method call. This line written where in my calculator class, right? This is the calculator
Mhm.
class I am written, right? That means actual calculator add method they call, right?
Right.
But now say कि developer no, I don't. This add method is not actually called. I work on a mock. So I can say, hey, I prepare the dummy response. Then Mark going to make intelligence. Hey, I'm not going to the call actual. I'm going to prepare the dummy response. Already I have. Any confusion?
Okay. Now this time I am
Hmm.
expecting a different output.
Because I'm saying, hey, when these 2 and 3 call, you return 15 or
Right.
you return
Right.
100,
Hmm.
whatever you want. Because this is the fake response, right? So that means this add is actually not going to the call, right?
Hmm. So do return 15.
Hmm.
So the test will test do return 15 when calculator.
My object
Okay.
add method call are these two input, right?
Right.
Let's use like here call 13. Let's I prepare response to return 15 when add is called 2 and 13, and then observe the output. You have already prepared response, okay, and you are calling the spy add, and you are noticing I am returning actual method call happen. Notice actually call happen. Why? Because you have only prepared the response that are 2 and 13. But here actually I'm calling for a 2 and 3. The 2 and
Hmm.
3, there is no any spy dummy response. So I'm going to the call actual method. So they are going to call actual method and return actual value 5.
Right.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
Uh, depend upon the how you prepare all the dummy responses. If any dummy response is spy object found, they are not going to the call actual object. So this is your actual object. This is the actual object, and this is your mane spy object. Spy object, right? Spy object. Generally, our unit test case say, hey, test case say call add method. Call add method, right? So they
Right.
are always going to search it add. And here, is there any dummy response prepare? No response prepare. Then I am going to call from here. And whatever the response they, I am going to returning to here, right?
Right.
Then say add call. And I prepare dummy response. So he's already have a dummy response. Oh, don't call actual. I am returning back from here itself.
Mhm.
So spy object hold references of your actual. Sometime needed, then they call actual. Not needed, they don't call actual. But in the case of mock object, if you say mock always return back here. Always return back here. They never going to the call your actual object.
Right.
This is the major demarcation, or you can say understanding. Sometime I need a partially mocking, then spy is work, right?
Right.
It's clear.
Yeah.
That's good. And let uh, understand. This is the one way. That's good. Now, whenever these two mocks, I'm using the method way. Method, right? Is the method.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes I want use the annotation this way. Already started. I want to use this annotation base. So let's say I remove all the things, right?
I noticed that in the core Java, there is no
Hmm.
annotation concept. It's only
You
uh,
know, core Java. All the annotation come from the core Java concept. We have not covered the annotation in the one chapter. You can create your own annotation as well as, right?
okay.
Because this Mockito framework or Spring framework or anyone finally running on the JVM code.
Right.
A JVM means Java language specification follow. If
Hmm.
Java language not support Mockito, any annotation, then how any framework can do work? So all this concept come from the core Java. Core Java, lots of things we have not covered, right?
Okay. Okay. So
So
is there?
annotation, I think maybe I not covered, but yes,
No.
annotation is the one topic in a core Java. You can understand what is the annotation. Can I create my own annotation, or we can use the existing annotation? Annotation is mostly come from the initial versions of the language, right?
Okay. Okay. But that's not a major issue, right? That we or
No, the annotation is just information tell to someone. Here, test means I am just telling, hey, Mockito framework, can you run this code as a unit test? If you're not writing this, so you cannot run as a test it. You cannot run this code, right? Because this simple method you cannot run, right? For running
Hmm.
any class, you need a main method, right? The generally before that, what I'm saying, I'm right here, public static void main. I writing this way, and then I can run this code, right? Notice, then I can run this code, right? Now you can run this code. If you are not using any annotation, that means you have manually write the main method, and now it's code run. Your test method run, right? They're called, right?
Right.
So here, how many number of main method I'm going to write in one class? Only one main method, right? So due to that, what the testing frameworks, Mockito framework, unit testing decide, hey, just you give me the hint. I'll write main method for you. Don't you do. Just write your method. I'm not going to write anything, right? I'm not writing here, say, I am saying this is a simple method. I want it should be runnable. So how come JVM know you want to run this code, right?
Right.
Hey, I'm giving little bit information to you. Just you understand. I am say test. I am say test. So what the test? Test from here. If you write, let's see here write ABC. ABC, it's work? No. They say, what is ABC? I don't know. Why they understand the test? Question is that. Why they understand test, right?
Right.
At the test. Because this test is defined by our JUnit framework API. So we are using the import here test. and test is the simple. This is the logic. This is the annotation. Okay, this is the annotation. Annotation is just an interface, and they have some basic information you can see, right?
Right.
And these things you can also. This is a simple Java interface. Okay, and by default, whenever this processing going internally, Mockito say, "Hey, developer written here at the rate test." That means I am going to run complete this code inside a particular main method. So internally they write one dummy class and your main method and run your code and give the output. So for all test, notice I run complete class here. So notice here they run all the 10 classes. So internally you need a 10 more main method. In the one class you cannot write. But Mockito framework said, Del, I'll do, right? So notice all 10, all 7, 5 test cases run, right? If you
Right.
run any Java code, you need a main method, right? R in, you can say R one main method, you can call all the tests, right? We have a separate option. If you want to all this test method call, you can write one main method. You say, hey, public static void main. And here you can say call test, test zero, right? And you have to change all first statics. So here you can create one object, okay? Obj equal to new obj, right?
Right.
And here you say, hey object, I have an object of this, and I can call all the method. I can call test one, I can call test two. In this way, you can call, right? Generally, always we are testing, right? And you can run this code. So in this way, you are going to run three tests, right?
Right.
So internally, this activity is already taken care by your, and here you have not any kind of response. Which test is false? Which test is failure? You have not any kind of specific response, right? Either this test fail or pass. How I know? So Mockito or JNet frameworks given some more readability and the way you can run your test, right? So don't you don't write this. Let framework do. Let I'll do, right?
Right.
He written, now you can run your class. Just leave them. I understand. Notice this class is still runnable. Why? Because inside somewhere I written test. If any class contain any test annotation, by default you can run complete class as without any main method. Notice there is no any main method. Still I am able to run this code. Why? Because due to the annotation at the test. Now, this annotation means information. Just we are telling to our unit testing framework. Hey, unit testing, can you do this?
Hmm. Okay. So it's not like it's not like you know how you put the comment on Java. It actually does work.
Ah, yes.
It's not like a comment, right? Like
It's
how
not a
we,
comment. No, it is not a comment. You have a specific meaning of this, right?
yeah, and the code will react.
React, yes. That's good. So due to that test, because maybe I'm going to notice I have written one test class and write multiple test cases. The multiple main method I cannot write. Which are a fail, which are the not failure, which method through exception, right? All
Right.
the scenario you have to test. Just write simple one method, two method, three method, and just make annotation at that test. So our unit test framework know, okay, I'll run this in a separate manner, in separate main method, in separate main method, in separate main
Oh,
method.
separate main method, like separate thread.
uh, Separate main method. And notice here first test 5 written, and notice I'm running which test first call, I don't know, maybe this call or this call. Notice they call first test 0, right? Test one, 2, 3, 4, 5. This order they call, but I written code a different order, right? This is my 4, 5, 5th year, right? So any order can be the by default Mockito framework. So if you want to ordering, you can do. Last class we can discuss how to make a our test run in the particular order, right? Order annotation, right?
Right.
Okay, that's another part. Okay, so today let's come on the topic. Okay, so today it's clear key mock and spy. These two way to use the mocking object. One is the partial mocking. One is the, so let me I just comment all the things so that you should run and test. Okay, so add here, add should be one, add should be compiler, pass the variable. Here you can say 2, here should be 2, right? So this is, in this example we have understand ki how mock and spy have a differences. So till now whatever we run, always using this mock uh, method annotation. So sometimes some developer free, why not you allow some, we can do instead of method, I can do at the annotation level, at the top level, right?
Right.
Some, instead of writing this is the sufficient way, there is no any problem, you can do, there is no any make differences. But let's understand how we can use the same thing, this mocking object, not from here. Let's get the same test, I am just going to replay it and just say I am just test the test 6. Okay, test 6. I don't want use this mock. The question is that how I can create. I don't want this mock. Okay, and don't want
Mm,
this. How will I'm going to the mocking object? So this object I want do, no, don't do here. I am just go here and do right here. Okay, and here is the annotation at the rate mock. Okay, just they do right.
right.
So I just let's just commented out all the things, right? All the commented out, all the commented out, right? This simple. Okay. So now I need this mock object. So I'm not going to do inside. Now what do you think? It will work or not? Let's test. Because here say ki I already clear class level. Hey, mock annotation, mock this, and I'll try to run. And whenever you run, they will give some idea what you have missed something and what you have to do something, right?
Right.
So they are showing null pointer exception. That means this mock object is not mocked, right? So if why my mouse somewhere not working? So if he here we print s out in the mock object, so notice this is will be the null object. That means this object is not created by my mock. So due to that, notice this is the null, right? And the null
Mm,
object you cannot call add method, because null means this reference is not pointing to any object. And how you can call the add method? The null point exception. So this is the first problem you face whenever you are going to use the annotation. The question is that how to address them. How we can say, hey Makito, can you do it? So here, if you, I'm not going anything teach new users. Each and everything mentioned here. Whenever you're going to use the Makito annotation, right? So here mentioned you have to do something. This one, notice important thing. So here we have to tell our Makito, hey Makito, I am going to use annotation. So please consider it. So I'm saying whenever this test going to run test, I am going to inform Mockito. So say कि notice whenever any test run and before you want to do something, I want to whenever I run test, this mock object must be created, right?
right.
So you know कि we have also at the rate before each, right? So whenever before each void that's the setup, okay, something, and here say I am going to this the annotation, Mockito annotation. I am going to use the Mockito annotations. Here say, hey, Mockito annotations dot. They have a method one initial mock, one is the open mock. Initial mock means lining means your deprecated method. You can use this, but deprecated method, very thumb rule, try to avoid, right? If you are using the JUnit 4 or not 5 before that, then this method will suit for you. But we are using the JUnit 5, so we are going to the latest one, open mock, open mock. And
Right.
here just say, this is my class here where I want to mock. So this line I'm not going any intelligent. I'm just telling you how work, because each and everything mentioned in this document, right? Whenever you're going to
Mm,
do important note this and you will do. And notice this is from for a JUnit 5 test, right?
yeah.
So do here two basic JUnit 5 tests are in Mockito and okay. So notice I just run okay, miss. So I run just added this line. Here I'm not doing any change. Here I'm not doing any change. Here I'm not doing any change, right? So let's I say ki each, before each, before each, okay? Before each, koi any test going to run, can you just initiate Mockito annotation, right? And after that you run, you notice, hey, this state should be fast. So this is a major change if you are going to use from mock method to know it's working, right?
Right.
So here you can say, uh, this line not needed, and simply say, hey, do return 5 when our a calculator mock object is add method call for 2 comma 5, right? Currently I'm getting the 0 output, and just verify assert equals, right? Output
Right.
should be 5. And this is the my mouse somewhere is stuck in IntelliJ project, I don't know why.
Yeah.
5.
My computer is also stuck. Like,
So maybe multiple library loaded to be okay. So this is that. So notice. So now in this way, you run your test will pass, right?
right.
So notice. So this is the one way. This is the one way you can write this. And if you
Right.
read the document, they say you can. What did they say? Test expected 5. We return 0. Oh, why? Achha, we pass 2 5. Oh, we have to pay say 2 3, right? Because here I am passing a 2 3. The actual map, right? Actual match. So we know argument matcher, we have to actually match this, or you can use the argument matcher like any, right? Any integer, any string, that also work, right? No test is pass. That's good. So this is for your one way. Let's see. This is the one way. It's okay. Another way. Let's try comment it. Okay. Another, you have option at the class level. Here say at the rate uh, extension with this one, and here say I need the Mockito Mockito extension. Mockito extension. So here dot class. So this is the another way. You have a two option. In this way, class level means for this is the set class level. That means it's work for you. If okay, so you can use
Mm.
the both way, or at the method level, or at the class level. If still you run it, it's work fine. So these are the extra things you have to do if you are going to use the annotation this mocking, right? But these are the some test cases are failing. Okay, missing honest. Okay, what's saying? These are the missing. What's saying? Okay, clone cleanup, Mockito extension. They are going to apply for all class level. So we have to follow these frameworks. So let's enable this so that they can allow every annotation works, right? No. I'm using the 1 minute. Let me check. I think this is the same annotation. I'm using the same different. Extend with. Mm, somehow I written. No, that is the Mockito with extension. The same thing I have to written. This is the two way. I'm somewhere read out. This is the way, and just should we comment.
Mm.
It should work. Let's else what the other thing. So generally, always prefer this way because this is run for every, because this is the documentation mentioned here. If you read this documentation, no. So here they are not happy. So let's comment out and go with this uncomment and run it. So by default, it's all pass, right?
Right.
So this is also mentioned here. Documentation important note: whenever you are going to do annotation base, you have to use this something runner. Okay, good part.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And next things, similarly, now you notice this is the Mockito. Similarly, same you can use for your spy as well as same. Let's class here say like so here say at the rate. spy, right? Spy. Oh, spy. Okay, spy. Spy, and here say, hey calculator, this is the not mock, and I want something in the spy mock. Spy mock. Okay, spy mock. So here similarly, let's one more test case verify it's work or not. Let's I say, and here I'm going to use the your spy mock. Okay, so spy mocks if pass this and it should works. It's this not should also null point exception. So if you run test, this test should also works, right? So both are
Right.
here internally because now we are not using the method based annotation but the uh, class based, right? Here just declare one variable and it works. Now you are getting okay, and that's good. This is the one way, right? So
Right.
m- mock and spy both are clear. And if you go to the here, they have given one more we discuss about lots of things. I'm uh, just like a spy real object, all the things whatever we discuss right here mentioned. You can use this way return something, everything whatever we discuss all mentioned in this. Okay, argument capture is the one things we have to discuss, and so now one more annotation that we have to discuss about inject mock. Okay, somewhere there. These are the annotation, right? Inject mock. So these
Right.
three annotations generally sometime we are using. At the capture means capturing the method call argument. Spy means partial annotation, and inject mock. Let's say I'm going to spy what the meaning of inject mock and why we use, right. These two spy and these two spy and initial mock look like a same. But let's give the example, right. So inject mock say कि I am going to create your object. Okay. Like spy also say I am always have your actual copy and your mock copy. If you call me, you have not any set your response. The fake response I am call your actual, right? Like inject Mockito say I have first create your actual object always and call your actual object method. But inside the actual method might be you have some dependent class, maybe class B another class. You have some object here and you are going to call this here. So this method I am not able to mark. I am going to say null point exception something.
Right.
So how we can, because in the real case always our method called to some method, right? This method called to another method, right? This
Right.
method called to another method. So what happen if we are calling the actual real method? They are going to call here, and this is the object not initialized. You are getting null point exception. Or here you call something, you are getting null point exception. So in this scenario, this inject mock help us. Inject mock say कि I am going to inject the internal field of your object. So this is the little bit reality use, because always we are going to writing the test cases against my actual application, and our actual application, actual code always not written in the one class, right? One class and call another class. Let's look example, right?
Right.
So let's go to the my I'm written a simple two classes for just explanation, right? Let's I write my class service A, okay, service A, and this is the class service A, and we have another class service B, okay, service B. Let's we have two classes, and service B have some method. Let's key I have some method public return integer uh, s- service B, okay, service B. Whatever the method name, here take let's some input you take, and the return value like integer. Let's call as out and return same. Let's say as of now, whatever the x multiplied by 10, right?
Right.
I'm business logic can be anything, but this is the one service method, okay? Service method, okay? Similarly, let's our service one service A also have a some method like a service method A, and they have a some method. But this is the independent classes. But I am going to make the both have a relationship. So we know two kind of relationship, hazard relationship and inheritance. So I'm going to hazard relationship. Here say, hey service A, you have another service B. Okay, service B. Okay, and whenever you're going to call, here you go first call service B. Okay, service B with X input and whatever you result getting, and after that you just say whatever the result you getting for a service, say plus result plus multiply by X. This is the, let's say, business logic, right? Many
Right.
times our A service is going to take input, calling, doing some processing. Let's say ki X equal to X plus 1, right? There's some business logic there, right? Incremented one. And after this, I'm going to call this service method B, and service B returns some result, and I'm going to prepare my result plus this, right? This is the business logic, something related, right? So in this scenario, let's say I'm going to write test case for this class. This is my service A. I'm going to write one test here, right? So how will do, right?
Right.
It's clear. So let's say I my test here, and I'm saying, hey, I'm going to say, hey, I'm writing one test cases, test void test service A, test service A. Okay. So whenever you want to test service A, that means you need the mock of this class, right? Let's do mock and call this. So I have a one class. Yeah. So I can say, hey, I'm using this mock annotation service A, and this is a service A object, right? And I'm going to say, hey, service A dot call service A. Let's say I pass input the 5, right? They return some value, and I'm what expected output. Question is that ki what expected output actual. Okay. So here let's see what service we say. If I pass 5, let's simplicity, I pass the 5, right? Here go 5, 5 increment plus 1 6, right? And you
Right.
pass here 6, 6 multiply by 10, they return 60, right? And you say 60 plus again 60, means 120 I'm expecting, right? This is our expectation as per, let's prepare into output, okay, output, okay, and I'll return it. This is the way, right? So this is some, though I'm just preparing some fake business scenario, right? So this scenario might be happen. So if I am going to test this, I am calling, I am expecting something output. Let's say output, output. Let's test this. And as per expected, what is it? I am calling mock. Mock means they are not going to call these things, right? And it's work fine. Let's test it. Mock means mock say कि I am a fake object. I am not calling your service a method.
Right.
So notice it will pass and they return actual 0, right? Because here I am using the what? Mock. Mock means always I am not going to call any actual method. But our test, I want to write test, at least this method call. This at least I am check, and this something I am check. I want to call this method. And this would be, let's check, right? So here we have a two option. Let's so instead of this, I'm going to say I'm not going to mock. I'm going to use the inject mock. Inject mock, right? So whenever you say you do inject mock, means now inject mock say I am going to use their actual service call. They are going to the call here and then check the output. So, so here notice something I'm getting problem. Here service
Fail.
call but null pointer exception. Because
Yeah.
why null pointer exception? Notice in my service A code, here it's okay printed. Let's see here printed service A line 1, okay, and after this is also printed X value. This is the uh, service line 1, this is service line 2, Okay, the service line 2, this printed, and after that here they are going to the fail s out. Notice, let's I print service b what, and after that let I print the s out result and s out output. Okay, I'm line by line printed. Let's see how many line this code run, right? Okay, good option here, say this is the line one, right? Line 2, line 3, that's line 4, line 5. Okay, we return and run the test. So notice line 1, 2, actual inject mock, first things always create the actual object of you, right? So notice line 1 created, line 2 created, run, and line 3, this is the null, right? This is the line 3 means this service object is the null, right? So that case, inject mock say, okay, you have another method. So he say, hey, you have this variable. So let's you mock them. So here I can say, hey, here I am say ki mock this variable. And so whenever you mock this and let's run it, then what happen? And then we have to mock means fake object. Notice if you run, they are not throwing any exception. Notice they are called all the line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5, line 6. So notice our code, all the business logics of service A, you are able to test.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Even this is the wow, how possible? Because I'm going to inject mock. Means here say inject mock say I am going to create an actual object inside any other field like this. You can also mock here. You can also mock. And here say whenever I say hey, when do return, our expectation is that here whenever here I'm calling uh, x input, here x what is passing, here 5, then 5 plus 1 6 here passing. So I can mark whenever service call service b pass, then return multiply by 10, right? So here you can say, hey, I am going to say do return do return when uh, our service b call service b call service b with input here say like a variable x. Okay, x equal to, initially I pass the 5, right? Here say x plus 1. Okay, pass 5, then what you want to return? I want to return whatever the x plus 1 multiply by 10, right? This is the business logic I would say, right? So here you have written a test. What you are doing, say here I am going to the mock my service b. Whenever something I pass, here I pass x. Okay, and then notice they return the actual value. Means ki inside the particular service, here this method you are going to the mock this method. If someone call my b method, I want to return some response, right? So here noting in the output in the response is always 0, right? Because the mock object always returns 0 value. I don't want here go to 0. I want some value so that I can test my this logic multiplication work or not, right? So sometime you want to verify other code. This code also work fine. This code also work fine. So you have to need to mock this response. So here I'm saying, hey, I'm going to mocking this response. So let's test. So notice here as per expected my output will be 120, right? Because I'm thinking it should be written 120. So here I say, hey, assert equal uh, this is my expected 120 and actual be actual 120, right? This way your assertion will going to verify. So whatever I'm thinking means ki my business logic now work properly. I'm tested the complete flow. So in actual mock, we are not able to test functionality, just responding dummy. So here at least we can test some line of code. So inject mock are many places really use when you are not going to call complete method as a mock. I want to test this line, some specific service I maybe I want to mock, right?
Right.
Other part, at least we can test all the flow. So in this scenario, your inject mock help us. The inject mock nothing, just create your actual object. Calling the here they call actual method. Inside you have any service, then you can also mock them and set the dummy response, and you can verify. So is it clear how it's work? So let's again repeat.
Sure.
So here say ki this is my test, this is my test class, and here we have a two. One is your service A class, service A. Another we have a service B, right? Two services, service B. And whenever I say first say let's mock, I'm using the mock of service A. Means ki I'm creating the mock of service A, mock service A, right? So whenever say at the rate mock, that means we are going to call here and return dummy response. So there is a no interaction between any code line check here. Well, nothing check happen because we are using a completely mock like in this scenario right here. So we are just going to calling mock for fake A and get dummy response. We're not doing anything interaction. But I want some interaction happen between these, right? So here you can say no, I'm not going to the mock. I'm saying inject mock. The inject mock say ki, I'm going to create one inject mock, but whenever you call me, I'm going to call your actual method. So here they are going to call service A and service A line 1, line 2, line 3. And here you are calling the service B. And this service B object is not initialized. So they are showing null pointer exception. So oh, null pointer exception means ki this is the one object here used by the service B. That means I have to mock this object as well as. Okay. Let's see, I mock this service B as well as here. So now service B mock, then they are going to okay, I'm not running all the other scenario. They return. So okay, whenever this I mock, I can have option. I can prepare some dummy response as well as. Here I prepare dummy response. Whenever you're going to call this method, don't call actual. We have to return at least fake response here so that my business logic can test. So you say, hey, so whenever service B method this call, you return dummy response this.
Right.
So this is the here you are using the internally mock. And finally you get the response, prepare the output and return here. They return to you our test verification going. So generally, inject mock is used whenever one service call to another service, one service call to another service, one service call to another service. The due to that, they are is a allow field injection as well, right? The same theory written here you can right here. So look like the inject mock or spy field tested on the
Hello.
one actual object, right?
Right.
Similarly, spy always call your actual one. Similarly, inject always call your actual code. Here, they inject service A. Here, service A method going to the call. First thing you remember. But internally, some variables you want to mock, so you have to mock them. So, little bit clear what is the inject mock.
Yes, Ajay bhai.
Yeah, that's good. So these are the three way. Generally, in our industries, preferable way using the inject mock and mock. These are the two heavily used. Generally, nowadays Java developer feel annotation with. Generally, sometime they are going to use this method level like a mock method. Call this method this way. This is all. Don't think no differences between write the mock this way or annotation. First, right? You preferable of your choice. You can do. There is no immediate difference, right? But this is some okay, cleaner code. In the test case, we are not going to write the mocking object and something. Here, just prepare dummy response and call the actual method, right? But we notice
Now,
whenever you are going to use annotation, you have to add one more method like this. For each, you have to add on this, right? And annotation required this. If you're not using this code, your annotation will not work. So annotation we have to means you can say one extra steps we have to do like this way. For each test case, we have to enable Hey Mockito annotation because this annotation is provided by Mockito. Mockito, right? So we are using the two library. We are using the unit test, right? JUnit 5. And we are using another library, Mockito, right? So here in the JUnit, I say okay, I am going to use annotation of the Mockito. You can these are annotations provided by the Mockito framework, right? Mock, spy, and notice these all come from your Mockito annotation. This is all the Mockito annotation. The mock,
Mm,
spy, and your like everything, right? So we
right,
have to tell, hey, whenever any test run, Mockito annotation open for this class, right?
right.
So this is the extra steps we have to do for the mock annotation. But you are using the like method level like here, mock or spy or inject annotation. There is no need of annotation anymore, right? Is it till now any question, any confusion you have?
Yes, yes, Ajay bhai. The last one. Uh,
Inject mock.
yeah.
So inject mocks again repeating inject mock. What they're saying, they are saying whenever I say inject mock, this is the class service A. So this is your service A object. The first they are going to create your object B flat. They are
Right,
not going to the mock object. They are not creating any fake object here. Inject mock means always create the object of your class. This object by default created, right?
right,
But whenever I say hey call service B, they are calling the service B method. Actual call happen. But service B internally have another object, maybe some service B, service B. The service B here fail calling, null pointer exception. Because service
mm.
B object is not initialized. So how
So
to
it,
initialize
sorry,
service
it
B?
calls service if.
Because in our code, inject mock not call. Inject mock not call. Our service A code written, here our service A method written, I am going to the call service B.
Mm-hmm,
So this line going to the fail. Because whenever they are going to the create object of this class is by default this object become null.
mm.
So whenever creating object A new, so this is not initialize. So this not initialize, so this line will fail always null point exception. Because
Okay, okay, yeah,
so due to the here sake is just mock service A means the service A object created there. But while creating service A object, they notice service A have a one variable as well as. So who initialize this variable? This by default, notice in Java, you declare any variable by default object assigned to the null value. So this is the
sure.
null. You cannot say null dot service call. You call actual service and here your service fail because null dot you cannot call the service B.
Right, right,
So here we need this field inject mocking. Here I want this is the mock object. In this mock object, I want to inject this mock as well as this is the mock I want. So here say I am going to allow inject mock means this class inside the particular field I want to mock. So this is the service B. I am going to mock service B as well as.
mm.
So whenever you write service B mock, this code is not break. They are going to completely run all the line because now this point, this service B, this variable, you are allowed to the mock on the mock of this. Means notice first this mock of this and then internally mock this. So due to that, they say field based mocking something. Allow. So here you can just write the whenever service we call this return value and you can test your all the service code. So objective is here I have a code written before the service call and after the service call, right? I want to
Mm.
test all the line. So if this line fail, how I can test this code, right?
Right,
Somehow this code must be passed, right? So if this service object I have not allowed, so I can mock them. Don't call actual, right? Just mock them.
right.
You can mock them. A good part, this mock inject not work on the one level of service call. Maybe this call, maybe another call. This call, maybe another call. Any field is specific, you can mock them, right?
Right,
Service A call B, B call C, C call. Here you have something getting null pointer exception. This due to the actual object, maybe database calling happen, right? The database field you have to mock them, right? Hey, don't call
right,
actual database, just they mock them. Here say don't call actual service B, you just mock them. Here I'm not going to write service hey mock B, right? No, this is a service code. In our test case, say hey, test case here I'm going to service B mock, right? So these
right.
are the service chain level. One method call to another method, one call another method. In this way, generally, this inject mocking we are using. These are heavily used annotation in the test cases,
Right.
right?
Correct. Yeah.
Got it? So almost we are completion side, and I think this is the one thing missing here, like captor. Maybe this is the somewhere you want to the verification kind of thing. Let's these must mostly these are the things we need. Sometimes spy, sometimes inject mock, and sometimes the mock annotation. So these are the basic annotations we should know. But somewhere let's one test last. Okay, the day I write a test, test well, and here say, hey calculator, and mock calculator calculator dot class. I mock them and say calculator dot add. Let's say I pass a 2 comma 3, right? Okay, and verify output. Assert. So let us hear. So here sometime 700 just it. Sometime what the scenario come. So when they were called 2 3, I want to know what this method input parameter. We can capture the input. Some methods can be void, right? In the case they are not returning the value, right?
Right.
Maybe void delete method, right? So in this
Right.
case, we are not in a response. So what the value here in the case of good example here say they return some value. We can apply assertion on this value. What happened? This calculator some add method, right? Maybe some maybe void method. Let's say void uh, delete data. Okay, delete clear something. Okay, clear. This is the some method, right? Simply s out, s out. Okay, and just say integer x comma integer y. Okay, this two way. Okay, so whenever I'm calling this, maybe clear call. Just for example, okay,
Right.
with x plus x plus y equal to plus y. Okay, and maybe clean up, maybe delete. Okay, many places like you were delete method we're writing, we're not returning enable, right?
Right.
What happened? Okay, so in the let's in the test case, I'm calling the delete method. Delete method calculator dot delete, and I pass let's see 30 and 40. Okay, so in this delete method, they are not returning. So what kind of things you are going to assert? First, you have to assert this delete method at least call, right? Because just
Right.
key you are hinting the particular record must be deleted, right? So you have to ensure this method call. So how to ensure? You can say, hey, uh, you can say verify, right? Verify, verify, uh, calculator dot delete method call. Of delete method call for which? Maybe 30 or 40 somewhere, right? You have to call.
Right.
So if you run, means this test will pass. Means कि at even sorry, कि at least these methods must be called. Here I want to just verify means this method must invoke. But I want to apply assert this method invoke for the particular ID 3 or 4 or 5. So how I get what the value this input parameter I want to capture. I want to capture this input parameter
Right.
30, 40, A, B, C, D, any capture. So notice these are the input variable. So you can create maybe here say hey capture capture maybe here say capture you can initialize. You have two options. Capture you can use the annotation here. Here you can use the capture annotations or you can just use the your uh, argument capture here and you can specify the variable whatever you want. Similarly, you see annotation you require this. So here say hey I say here say argument capture you have to use. Here say argument capture. argument, argument, argument capture. And here I want to integer our case, right?
Right.
Integer. Yeah, first argument, right? Now this is the first F F FIRST. First arg, okay? ARG. This is the first argument, right? And similarly, I want to two capture. In this is I want to capture this two input. I can create two capture. This is the second. So here instead of here say, okay, hey, first argument capture them. Here say instead of this, instead of writing this code, you can write verify calculator dot delete delete call. Here you can say, hey, I'm going to use the not actual value here. I'm say our first argument capture just
Right.
comma second argument capture. So this thing I have to write here. Okay. So we are verifying this method call with this value, right? So instead of writing this, and now this argument capture. Once this done, you can get this value from here, right? So here say this is verification done, and then you can say, hey, I want to assert assert equal first argument 30, right? Uh, where is my mouse? Yes, say 30 comma our first argument capture dot get value. So you have a get value and get value. If multiple values, you can say both they support, right? In our case, one value we are calling, right? So
Right.
yeah, should be 40. So here you can say I'm going to the second sec, second argument capture. So in this way, here say you are saying once this method call, this 3 and 40 value are going to capture by this argument, two argument. And here you can verify this. Hey, this delete method should call for this two kind of input, 30 and 40 must be. In this way, sometime you need to capture what they say. Okay, call delete. But what capture say zero interaction with this mock. Okay, calling this 30 and 40. So maybe integer? No, let me integer. Because here we created the capture for the integer class, right? So my object should be integer. Let me test. No. Say capture integer argument, zero interaction with this mock test, delete capturing argument, zero interaction with this mock. Okay. So look, what is the problem? What is the problem? Here say mock annotation. Here say we created the mock annotations, and here say verify two step something mock step and capture. Do mock do step and capture is written and assert equal this dot get value. Before this annotation, after this annotation, no, it looks like it's work, not working. Let me erase it. So this is my first argument. This is my second argument. I can say, hey, mock call delete. We are going to call delete method. This is integer x, integer y, two argument. I want to call this. Okay, let's Google it. Why they're not working? Google. So let's look argument capture, argument capture. Anyway, so
Give me 1 minute. Ajay, I'll be right back. 1 minute.
okay, okay, I'll look it. So it will argument capture. Okay, so it is argument capture for class. Okay, this way also possible. Argument capture for class this way. Annotation is are capture capture this Mockito dot mock with this started at 4L. This A here.
Yes, I'm back.
Yes. So here we are talking. So somehow this matcher is this. You can say uh, whenever particular method call, you want to capture the particular argument as well as. So here we have multiple way to declare. Thus, this way you can say, or you can use this. This is also one way. Here you can use annotation. It should works, and here you can say after running, what happened? They are just verifying this 30 is captured by this first argument, and the second argument captured by this value. And here you can apply some assertion. So in some cases your method not return value or some inside inject something going call, you can verify and also capture the particular argument which you call, right? So this scenario generally we are using this the capture, yeah, argument capture. Similarly, in our JUnit framework, we have to study about the argument matcher. Similarly, here Mockito have a argument capture. Means ki what the method value is passing, they can capture in a particular object, right? So in this way, sometime you can use them, right? This annotation capture, right? Capture just
Right.
argument matcher. That's we are matching the particular arguments we get, right? And I'll this is something error going on. I'll fix them and commit the code, right? And you can check how to initialize happen, right? So any question for the day today?
No, I'm
We
good.
have
Yeah.
almost covered how to use annotation with mock, annotation with spy mock, inject mock, and similarly argument matcher.
So there are okay. So these are the one that is most popular.
Yeah, these are the mostly in this way we can sufficiently write our test cases. Lots of things this documentation have cover. Surely we are not going to cover each and everything, but objective here is that which are the mostly required to writing a test cases, we have to use them, right?
Right.
Or so these are the some of the argument capture you can just use them. So basically these are the highly used annotation you can say, and just do it. Okay.
Sure.
Argument matcher. So we can oh sorry. So this is mentioned Argument matcher. So this is the way you are matching the argument, like argument matcher, argument argument capture. So this is the way argument captures. Like whenever you do argument capture, just
Right.
write your argument capture and call the method and check the particular assertion. Okay, do something method.
Right.
Here, I just you write the capture and apply the assertion here. That's annotation base you can do, or you can say class base as well as. So this is the two options you have. So you can use annotation base, or simply say I'm not going to use annotation. I'm just going to the class base. So here you can say write the class base annotation. Here say
Okay,
uh,
okay. So
just
that's so
here
it's
say
easier to use annotation.
both you have option, right? Huh. So here you can say this is the uh, first and this is the second. Okay, in this way you can also use.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. And here you can say instead of this way, you can also write the this way. Verify. This is the first and this is the second. Okay, and this is similarly second. This is the first. So both we have an option.
Oh, you just changed one test for the
Uh,
example.
right. So here means good option. All the mocking object we have a both option. You do annotation or you can do from the simple method class method, right?
Hmm.
And you test it in this way, right? So let's try. If any doubt, confusion, we can surely discuss. But these are the mostly use the tools and technique which we have to follow, right?
Right. Also, you mentioned that you're gonna do a live demonstration
For which
for one of the microservice with the testing.
how will cover the next next our
Oh,
objective, we are going to write test cases where we are writing a test cases for the some REST API. Till now, whatever we have writing the JUnit or Mockito for the particular specific one class, that is simple specific method, right?
right,
Let's how to test the particular REST endpoint. REST endpoint is not work on your local machine, maybe deploy somewhere different, right?
right, right, right.
So how we can use this? So we are going to understand for this one new utility, one new library, right?
Hmm. Right.
Mockito and JUnit just help us to write the unit test cases for all the Java methods which you written, right?
Yeah. Unit test. You can test the remote program like
Uh,
microservice. Also, core Java, right? Everything.
yeah, here it look like similarly like code here.
Hmm.
Similarly, we have already covered. If you note in the REST client, we cover REST client is just a method called to the any method, right? Any
Hmm.
web service where you
Right,
pass the URL and call it the method. Similarly, we are going to test how either while writing unit test case, we have covered those scenario. We have to cover, right?
right.
It's good.
Yes.
Okay, then let's take care.
Thank you.
Thank
So no
you.
more, no more classes, right? No more.